Assalamualaikum students. The topic which I am going to discuss today is the second part of the moment distribution method, in which I am going to discuss how this method is applied towards the frames. And in the course today's lecture, I am going to cover both sway frames and the non-sway frames. As far as the non-sway frame concerned, their procedure is similar as we performed in the last lecture for the continuous beams, except that in the case of beams we have only two members are connected at any joint, while in case of the frame we could have more than two members at a particular joint. So this is the only difference. Let's quickly jump to the example. Let's see this first example, in which we have to find out the member end movements and the reactions for the frame shown in the figure, in which we have four members of the frame, while the member A to C has an inertia of 800 inch force and carried a point load at the mid span, and which is intensity of 40 kips, and the width span length of the frame is 20 feet. Whilst the span C, D, and DE carry a UDL of 2 kip per feet with the inertia of 1600 inch force. While there is no loading on the members B to D having an inertia of 800 inch raised to power 4. And the span length for the member B to D is again 20 feet, while the span length for the horizontal members that are CD and DE is 30 feet each. And the value of elasticity that we are going to use in this particular problem is 2900 KSI, while the value of the inertias are mentioned separately for each member. Just like the beams, first of all we are going to find out the values of the distribution factors, and the values of the distribution factor we are going to find out at the joint C and the joint E. And the joint E, we have a pins code, so we are going to apply the formula for the reduced stiffness in the member D to E. So for the first, let's start with the joint C. So the distribution factor at the joint C will be equal to inertia of the member CA, which is 800 inch raised to power divided by the span length, which is 20 feet. So that should be divided by all the members that are connected at the joint C, which is the member AC and then the C to D. So it will come as 800 by 20 plus 1600 by 20, and after the solution the answer comes out to be 0.429. Similarly, we will find out the distribution factor for the member C to D, and its value comes out to be 0.571. And as I already mentioned to, the value of the sum of the distribution factors at any joint must be equal to 1, and it ultimately serves as the check for our particular problems. And then we will find out the values of the distribution factor at the joint D. So at the joint D we have three members connected. One is the member C to D, other is the member D to B, and third is the member D to E. So we are going to use these three member stiffness. For member D to B, we are going to have the relative stiffness of the member DB, which is 800 by 20, divided by the relative stiffness of member 800 by 20, which is a DB, plus relative stiffness of the member C to D, which is 1600 by 30, plus the reduced stiffness for the member DE, and it will become as 3 by 4 times inertia by length. And after this, after this simplification, the answer comes out to be 0.3. As we are going to use the reduced stiffness at the joint E. That's why we are apply the formula for the reduced stiffness for the member D to E by calculating the values of the distribution factors. Similarly, we are going to proceed with the distribution factor of the joint D to C and the joint D to E. And for joint D to E, the member stiffness will be equal to 3 by 4 times inertia by length. And once you simplify all these values, it will become as equate to the 1. That is 0.3 plus 0.3 plus 0.4 comes out to be 1. And the At the end, the joint rotation of the distribution factor at the joint D is going to be equal to 1 because there is only one member connected at the joint D. So the member stiffness of that particular member divided by the sum of the stiffness, which is on one member, so it comes out to be equal to 1. Then we are going to find out the values of the fixed end moments using the moment distribution tables. And the member AC, it will come as 150 feet by using the formula PL by 8, and similarly with the negative sign of the member CA. While for the member D to D and D to D, as there is no loading in the member D to B, so its value will be equal to 0. And for the frames C to D and DE, we have a constant UDL of 200 kip per feet, so its value will comes out to be plus 150 kip feet. And once we find out the value of DC and ED, it comes out to be minus 150. After the calculation of the fixed end moment, we are going to find out the values of the moment distribution, which includes the unbalanced moment and the carryover moment. And after that, we are going to find out the values of the final moments using the moment distribution tables. So after this, we are going to draw the moment distribution table, in which at the top we are going to mention the members, that is A to C, C to A, C to D, D to C, D, B, D, E, and E, D. Remember that we are going to write all the members that are connected to a one joint at a one place. Like all the joints of the CA will be written at closer to each other. Similarly, all the joints that are connected to the joint D, they will be written with each other. Similarly, E, A, and E. After this, we are going to write the values of the distribution factors for all the members that we have found out in the previous steps. For AC, it is 0 due to fixed support, and for CA, its value is 0.429. For C to D, its value comes out to 0.71. For DC, it is 0.4. For DB, it is 0.3. For DE, it is 0.3 again. And for ED, it comes out to be 1. While for the member B to D, its value will be 0 due to fixed support at point B. After that, we are going to mention the values of the fixed end moments like we did in the beams. And then we are going to find out the values of the balance moments by summing the values of the moments and multiplying with the negative sign of the resultant unbalanced moment with the distribution factors. And the value of the moment that comes out for CA is minus 21.4, and for CD it comes out to minus 28.6. In case of frames, I would suggest you that you will perform the values for unbalanced moment for any joint at a time. That means first you have to find out the values for the joint C, then find out the values of the joint B, move towards the joint D, and so on. Moreover, then we are going to find the carryover movements, and that is transferred from C to AC and from C to DC. While there will no movement will be transferred from DE towards ED due to reduced stiffness, and from DE the movement is transferred comes out to be plus 75. While you will see that there is no movement in the member DB and BD because there is no loading in the member B to D, so that's why its value is 0. And once that value 0 is multiplied with the distribution factor, it again comes out to be 0 as well. So once that we are find out the carryover movements, we are again going to find out the values of the balanced joints. So then this time the values of the balanced joints will be at the joint D. And for that we are going to sum up the values of these moments, that is minus 14.3 plus 75, and going to multiply the resultant with the negative sign of the distribution factor, and ultimately the resultant values are mentioned here. While in the first step, first movement is minus 150, other is plus 50. So this resultant comes out to be 0. So when 0 is multiplied with the distribution factor, you will get the value of zeros in the balanced joints for the joint D in the very first iteration. After this, we are going to find out the values of the carryover moments. But remember, as we have balanced moment at the joint B, which is 18.1. So that is going to transfer towards the member D to B, and half of that will come as minus 9.1, which is going to transfer towards the joint B to D. And after that, we are going to repeat the same procedure after time and again, like we did in the for the beam analysis, till we reach to the values of almost similar or negligible small at any joints. Like in this case, for the joint C, we get the values of zero point 0.3 and zero point 0.4. For other joint, we get the values of minus zero point 0.1, minus zero point 0.1, and minus zero point 0.1, which are similar to each other. And ultimately, the summation of all the values in a one particular column will leads to the values of the final and moments for all members. And once we have find out the values of these members, we are going to draw the free body diagram for each member to find out the values of the member and shears. And once we have the values of the member and shears, then we can find out the reactions and draw the shear force diagram and bending moment diagrams in the usual manner. This is the case for the non-sway frames, which is pretty much similar to the being. The only difference is the number of the joints that are connected at any joint could be more than 2. So while for the frames with the side sway, this case is a little bit tricky. For this, first have initially that we have studied that first we have a frame that can sway in any direction. It is going to cause a displacement in the horizontal direction in the direction of the applied loading, and this value of the rotation is going to be the same at the both joints of the frame, that is joint C and joint D in this case. This value is same because we assume that the deformations are very small and these members are inextensible. So that's why we assume that we are going to have the same values of the rotation in the horizontal directions. And for such type of frames, or for the frames with the side sway, we perform the moment distribution analysis in two parts. In the first part, we prevent the side sway of the frame by providing an imaginary roller to the structures. And the second step, we provide or we apply the force of the reactions that is obtained on the roller in opposite directions of the frame. And after that, the resultant of those values is going to be used in the our analysis for the moment distributions. So we can say that once we provide a roller, then we apply the external loads or whichever the loads are acting on the structures towards this frame, and we will find out the member end moments by using the similar procedure for the member distribution tables, using the moment distribution tables. And once we have find out the values of these moment end members, we got to know the value of the reaction that is occurring on the roller sports. So we are going to use this value of the reactance force and apply it in the second part of the analysis. And this force is applied in the opposite directions of the frame. Like in this case, if the direction is going towards the left, we are going to apply this force towards the right, because indirectly in reality our frame is going to sway towards right if there is no side sway that is prevented by the roller sport. So we can say that we are going to develop our three moments in any side sway frame. First, let's call it as M, M naught, and MR, where M is the actual moment that is generated in the side sway frame, and M naught is the frame member or the moment that is generated when the side sway is permitted in the structures or we apply the roller sport, imaginary roller sport in the frame. And MR is the moment that is generated in the frame due to this force R which is applied to the frame. So we can say that the resultant or the actual moment in the member is the summation of the m naught plus mr, where m naught is the moment that is generated when the imaginary roller support is provided, and mr is the moment which is generated when the imaginary force r is applied onto the structures. As these forces are applied in opposite directions, so they are going to cancel out the effect of each other, and ultimately we are going to receive the values of the actual member and movements of the frame, which is side sway in any direction. So after this, but the important questions that we have to address is that how to find out the member end moments when a force R is applied on the structures, because this M force R is going to deflect the member, or will going to cause the translational movement in the member. Let's call this translational moment is equal to the delta prime or delta dash, and assume that this value of the delta dash is caused due to the load Q acting in the direction of the R. And after we know the values of this delta R by using the relative translational bending moments or finding the fixed end moments that we performed using the similar steps, we got to know the values of this Q as well. So that is the value of Q. So that's why we are going to apply the Q value as well in the structure. And once we have the value of this Q, that is the unload node, we are going to determine the value of this magnitude load R. And the resultant moment MR will then be the equal to a ratio of R by Q times MQ, where MQ is the moment generated to the applied load Q, and R is the resultant value of the force that prevented the side sway. So the ultimate or the final equation for the frame with the side sway becomes as m is equal to m naught plus r by q times nq. And this is the final equation that we are going to use in these side sway frames for the calculation of the member and moments. Also, this equation displays or indicates that we have to find out the values of the m naught, which is the moment that is generated due to the imaginary roller support provided in the first part of the side sway frame. And secondly, we have to find out the values of R, Q, and MQ. MQ is the moment that is generated due to the applied load Q, which is applied to prevent the reflection delta dash in the frames, while R is the load which is applied to prevent the reflection delta in the structures. Let's have a quick example to solve or to such type of frames, so that we will get a better idea of how to calculate the value of the R and Q and the MQ, or we can find out the member and moments. So in this problem, I will restrict till the calculations of the member and moments, because if you can calculate the member and moments, then you can proceed ahead in the usual manner as you did in the non-sway frames or while using the analysis of the peaks. So let's assume given we have in the given problem we are given with a three member frame of different leg size. The member A to C has a span length of 7 meter, while member D to B has a span length of 5 meter. This difference in the size of the dimensions or difference in the leg size indicates that this is a non-sway frame, or this is a sway frame which is going to sway. This is the difference in the legs. And the horizontal length for the member is given as again 7 meter, while a load of 40 kilonewton is applied at a distance of 3 meter from joint C, and the values of EIR taken as constant for all members of the frame. So for this, first of all, we are going to find out the distribution factors. So for the joint C, the value of the distribution factor CA or the CD will be comes equal to the I divided by the span length, which is 7 meter, divided by the I over 7 plus 1 by 7, because both members have a span length of 7 meters. So that's why we can calculate these values at a time. It comes out to be value comes out to be 0.5. Then we have to find out the value of the distribution factor at joint B, and for the distribution factor D to C, it will become as 1 by I over 7 plus inertia of 7 plus inertia of 5, because this member D to B has a span length of 5 meters, and this value comes out to be 0.417. Similarly, for D to B, this value will becomes 2.58, and if we sum up these values, that is 0.417 plus 0.483 will be equal to 1 as well. And the joint C, both values are equal to 0.5, so the 0.5 plus 0.5 is again equal to 1. So after the calculations of the distribution factors, then we are going to solve the frames in two parts, as already I mentioned. In the first part, we are going to prevent the side sway by providing an imaginary roller support at either ends of the frame. And after providing this roller support, we are going to find out the values of the fixed end moments in that period manner by using the moment distribution or the fixed end moment distribution tables. And the values for the C to D comes out to be plus 39.2 using a formula of PAB square by L square, and for DC it comes out to minus 29.4 using a formula of PB square A by L square. While for the member A to C and B to D, there is no external load is applied, so its value, all values will be equal to 0. Once we have the values of the fixed end moment and the values of the distribution factors, we are going to draw the moment distribution tables to find out the values of the M naught. So what we do is that we are going to mention the first step, that we are going to mention the values of the fixed end movements that we found, that only two values that we achieved is. Then we are going to find out the values of the unbalanced movement, and that comes out to minus 19.6 after this value is gone after multiplication with the distribution factors. And later on, this value is going to be transferred towards the far end of the member as well. And we repeat these procedures as well till we find out the values of the fixed member and moments M naught for all the parts of the frames. So that is the first part in which we have performed the find out the values of the member and moments, in which we prevented the side sway by providing a roller support. And to find out the values of the restraining force, that is R, or the reaction of the roller support, we are going to find out the values of the shears in the frame. As we applied a roller support at point C, which prevents the horizontal movement, so we are going to draw the free body diagrams of all the members that are in the vertical directions. And after that, we are going to apply the equilibrium equation of summation moment at any sports A is equal to 0 or sport B is equal to 0 to find out the values of the shears in all parts of the member for all members of the frames. And once we have the reactions by using these values of the shears, we can use the equilibrium equation of summation Fx is equal to 0 to find out the value of this resultant or the reaction of the roller support, and it comes out to be, in this particular case, 2.06 kilo Newton, because the reaction of the shear that we got at sport C is 5.14 and the for D is 7.2, which is mentions here 5.14 and 7.2. Now this is, then we have to apply this restraining force or the reaction of the R in the opposite direction in the second part, in which we permit or we allow the side sway. So this resultant force R will be applied in the opposite directions to the reaction in which we obtain. If our reaction is towards the positive x-axis, the applied load will be this, or which load will be in the negative x-axis. Now using this value of 2.06 kilonewton, we are going to find out the values of the member fixed end moments. But we cannot use this value directly. Instead, we have to use an indirect approach because this load is applied axially on the members, while the fixed end moments are generated in the member in which the load is applied perpendicularly or in the direction of the gravity of the structures. So we are going to provide an imaginary translational moment delta prime in this structure, which is basically caused due to unknown load Q in the direction of this reaction or this. So when we apply this unload Q in the direction of the R, it is going to cause a translational movement called as delta prime, and due to which it is going to induce the fixed end moments in the frame. And the fixed of the end moments for this particular case will be the same that is going to induce due to the sway of the frames or the support settlement of the frames. And for the fixed end moment calculations that we use for the displacement of the supports or for the movement of the frames, its formula is minus 6 EI delta by L square. So for the member AC, it will become as minus 6 EI delta prime divided by the length of the member AC, which is 7. So it's going to be 7 square, and it will become as 49. Similarly, the fixed end moment for the member DB comes out to be minus 6 CI delta prime by 25. While there is no displacement in the member C to D, or there is no bending in the member C to D, so its value is going to be 0. So in the last steps, that the negative sign that we use, that is minus 6 CI or delta prime, this negative sign indicates that the moments that are generated in the column, they are basically acting in the clockwise directions as mentioned here. But instead of going ahead, we need to find the value of this delta H, which is basically occurring in the values of the fixed and bending moment. We cannot calculate the final values of the fixed and bending moments till we have the value of this delta prime. And for the calculations of this delta prime, we have two options. Either we assume this value of delta prime and find out the value of the fixed end moments, or we assume the values of the fixed end moments and find out the respective delta prime value. So in this case, we are going to approach the second approach. We are going to follow the second approach, in which we are going to assume the fixed end moments for member AC to be 50 kilonewton meters. So once we simplify this and put these values in the fixed end moment of member AC, it will become as minus 6 CI delta prime over 49 equals to minus 50 kilonewton meter, from where we can obtain the values of the delta prime as 408.33 divided by EI. Now we can substitute this value of the delta prime in the expressions that we use for the fixed end moments for the member B to D or D to B to find out the values of the fixed and bending moments for member BD and DB, and they comes out to be minus 98 kilonewtons meters. Now we can use these fixed end moments and the distribution factors to find or to proceed with the moment distribution tables to find out the values of this member and moments caused by this moment MQ when the load Q is applied. So we will again going to draw the table for the finding the values of this member MQ or the moment Q. First of all, we are again to put in the values of the distribution factors, followed by the fixed end moments that we assume for the member AC, it is minus 50 and plus 50. And for the member DB and DC, that comes out to be minus 98 and minus 98. While the member C to D, there is no displacement, so this moment will be 0. In the next step, we are going to carry out the distribute this moment, and this is going to be repeated the same procedures that we used for the first part, in which we permitted the movement of the slope using the roller sports. And ultimately we are going to find out the net values of the member and moments in each part of the frame. Once we have the values of these member end frames, we are going to draw the free body diagrams of the members to find out the values of the member end shears and the values of the reactions. Once we have the values of the reactions, we can again apply the equation of equilibrium of summation fx is equal to 0, like we did for the calculation of the values of R previously. So once we apply this equation, we came to know that the value of the Q comes out to be 34.41 kilonewton in the leftward direction. So using this value of Q, which is 34.41, and the value of the R, which is calculated as 2.06 kilonewton, we are going to use the equations that we developed for the calculations of the member and moments. And hence, we are the equation that we have for the member AC, it will become as moment due to m naught when the roller support R is provided, and for member AC when the roller support R is provided, we have the moment of minus 12 kilonewton meter, like we calculated here in the first part for member AC. So we are going to use this value of the moment m naught of each part and this value of the mq for each part, and multiply that with the ratio of R by Q. So it will become as minus m naught, whose value comes out to minus 12, plus R by Q, the value of the R that we found out is 2.06, divided by the value of the Q, which is 34.41 kilonewtons. And it is going to multiply with the MQ. And MQ is basically the resultant moment that we calculated when we permitted the side sway, and its value is minus 42.3. So this value is going to multiply with this ratio, and when it's algebraically added with the value of the m naught, we find out the member end moments for member AC comes out to be minus 14.5 kilonewton meter. And then we are going to repeat the same procedure for the calculations of the other end member end moments, and we ultimately got the values of the all member end moments. And once we have these values of the member end moments, we are basically have the values of the actual member end moments after this step, after we added up the both values of the member end moments. So we are going to display these values of the member end moments on the actual frame, and after that we can proceed with the calculation of the reactions, or we can draw the SFDs and the BMDs as per requirement of this question. But in this case, we are only required to find out the member end moments, so we are going to stop our problem here. So the only difference between the sway frames and non-sway frames is that in case of sway frames, we have to draw the two moment distribution tables. One we permitted the side sway, and other once we prevented the side sway. So the summation of the two moment distribution tables is actually results us in the actual member moments of the structures. And once we have the actual member end moments, after that, what the procedure for both sway and non-sway frames or for the beams is same. Moreover, for your practice, I will suggest you that you should do all the examples or the problems that are related to the moment distribution method given in the book that we are following, that is structural analysis by R.C. Heblett, using the methodology that I have told you in these lectures. Moreover, I have also uploaded assignment 3 related to Roman distribution method on the LMS of the university, and it is due in the next week. So that's all for today. I hope you have really would understand the difference between the calculations of the sway and non-sway frames and how we apply the Newman distribution method on the frames. But if you have any doubt, you are most welcome to ask. Thank you very much and Allah Hafiz.